than 7 days.
Your first and only choice for Mansfield news and sport.
It's 1 o'clock, I'm Jason Harrison. A top Nottinghamshire cop is heading up a brand new crime-busting initiative that's been launched today. Here's Mansfield 103.2's Lisa Allison.
Paul Cotty used to be Nottinghamshire Police's head of homicide, but from today he'll be taking on a new challenge. He'll be heading up the northern hub of a new regional team to be known as the East Midlands Special Operations Unit. The team will organise and lead all major crime investigations in the area, including murder, manslaughter, kidnap and extortion. Nottinghamshire Police say that it will make the investigation of these crimes more effective, as well as saving £26 million across the region over the next 4 years.
4 men and a woman are being questioned about a suspected slavery ring after 24 people were found in squalid conditions in Bedfordshire. Some of the alleged detainees at the Travellers site are thought to have been held for up to 15 years. Officials are trying to secure the release of a kidnapped British tourist whose husband was murdered in a robbery in Kenya. David Tebbett and his wife Judith from Hertfordshire were targeted while holidaying at a remote beach resort yesterday. It's claimed reforms to the banking system could cost the industry up to £7 billion a year. The measures would prevent the government from having to bail out our biggest lenders. Finally, Mansfield 103.2 Sport. Mansfield Town centre-back Tom Naylor is training with Premier League side Fulham from today. He's following last week's stay at Derby with another week at Craven Cottage this week. It includes a reserve match against Manchester United tonight. Here's Stags boss Paul Cox.
Yeah, I was joking the other day that he's probably taking his autograph book with him, when he plays today. But no, seriously, I really do hope the lad performs well tonight. Not, like I say, not because for any other reason, that he's a great lad, fantastic attitude, and I personally want to see people like that progress in football.
Mansfield 103.2 weather.
With Available Car Supermarket. See 2,000 low-price used cars at availablecar.com.
Sunny but very windy this afternoon then, with maximum temperatures of 18 degrees Celsius in Spine Cop. And that's your Mansfield 103.2 news update at 2 minutes past 1.
Directors of Mansfield and Ashfield Broadcasting Limited would like to completely distance themselves from any of the tosh likely to be spouted by the 3 incumbents in Studio 1 from now until 2 o'clock. For the avoidance of any doubt, you listen entirely at your own risk. Long-distance lawyers and members of worldwide pressure groups can listen online at mansfield103.co.uk. All complaints should be addressed to Auntie Flo, 22 Fletcher Road, the Cayman Islands.
The Monday Mouthpiece on Mansfield 103.2.
A description of Mansfield Town Centre. Boarded up shops, back-to-back bookies, pawnbrokers, takeaways. Is this all our town centre now has to offer? Whatever happened to the good old days when the community used to come together on market day, when all essential purchases were made in the centre of the town? Where do you do your weekly shop? Probably at one of the many out-of-town supermarkets, or perhaps you don't even leave the house and use your fingers on the internet. According to a recent report, 1 in 3 UK shops lie empty and the recession is hitting the high street hard. What can we do about it? Can we turn back the clock? Can we breathe life back into what was once the heart of our communities? Or is it time to have a rethink and accept that the high street and town centre is a thing of the past? Call us now on 01623 666 000 to have your say. I'm Tony Delahunty, and on this week's Monday Mouthpiece, I'm joined in the studio by local businessman Sid Pepper and Mansfield District Council's Town Centre Manager Nick Turner.
This storm is coming like a ghost town. All the clubs are being closed down. This place is coming like a ghost town. Bands won't play no more. Too much fighting on the dance floor.
The Specials, with perhaps, maybe not the right title. Maybe Nick Turner will disagree that Mansfield is not a ghost town. Apologies, no Andre Camilleri this afternoon. He's had to nip to the supermarket to get... Oh, sorry, Andre Camilleri's away on holiday or something like that this week, and back home to do his garden this afternoon or whatever. But in the studio, as mentioned before, Sid Pepper, who is... You've got a real say. You're Mansfield born and bred. The town centre itself must have changed massively in your time. Is it becoming a ghost town?
It's in danger of being so, yes, but I am disappointed you've not picked up on the new svelte-looking person that sat here before you.
After the obesity talk last week.
Yes, because I listened to the lady that did nutrition, and I've had a big glass of water and a hell of a breakfast at Leslie's Gaff at Booton, and, it's working.
What is, you're getting fatter?
Yes.
Oh, good. Right, OK, we've not had you in before. We have had you in many times in other programmes, on the breakfast programme with Ian Watkins and things like that. You're a singist apart from anything else. OK, you've accepted the job of the Mansfield District Council's centre manager, city centre, town centre manager, haven't you? Yes, you have. You're nodding. And before you speak, I mean, it's obviously one where you may have to look for other employment if it is failing, like he said. So, as a guitarist and singist, are you allowed to do a bit of busking on the side to try and raise a bit of extra money?
That's very naughty of you, Tony. Obviously, Mansfield Town Centre, it's how you tell the story. We've done very well, actually, over the last year. We've sustained the number of shops that we do have in town, and the footfall's been absolutely amazing over the summer. So, shame on you to say
no, not
such
according.
a thing.
No, come on, not according to the figures. I mean, it depends who you go to. I mean, figures can prove anything. I don't want to bore you all, dear listener, with what the figures are. But Mansfielders, according to one thing, the LDC, that's a local data company. It's got
based in London,
maybe based in London, but a professional company, one might think. They say you've gone up, and it was 16.5. It's now gone up to 16.7%, and you guys say it's 14.4%. First of all, why have you got to have different areas of how you compare with two different companies? The way you look at it and the way a data company looks at this town centre. Town centre is town centre.
Well, the first thing I would say, they're based in London, they don't speak to us, and they come and do a survey without consulting us at all. So clearly they look at possibly a different number of shops that we actually do. They don't survey the specific area that we constantly monitor. So I think that's the answer to the question. You can prove anything with statistics.
You say he's on a slippery slope. The town centre's on a slippery slope. Why?
I never said that.
You did?
No, I didn't.
You said it was in danger of
It was
happening.
in danger, so that doesn't mean to say it's going to happen. I would actually agree with Nick that I think great efforts were made in the marketplace during summer. I think the sandpit was a fabulous idea. The fair there, I think they did very well. No question about that. And I'm a big fan of Mansfield. I'm not going to knock Mansfield today. I've been here all my life. And I'll tell you what, we've a lot happening in Mansfield that comparable sized towns don't have. So, let's knock everything about it. They have made achievements. It's a case of what do we do now? What can we do differently to everybody else? I know the answer. All will be revealed.
Oh, you do know the answer? So are you going to reveal it in this programme?
I am, yes. I mean,
Okay.
whenever you decide that should be.
Well, not for the moment, thanks. We'll try and get some sense and sensibility into it. Are we heading for a ghost town? Well, Mansfield 103.2's Lisa Allison spoke to the director of the local data company. That's the LDA we just referred to, the local data company. Based in London. The people behind last week's High Street report. She started by asking Matthew Hopkinson about the main findings of their recent study.
What it's painting is at a national level, we've seen that the vacancy rates have stabilised at just over 14%. So that's a good thing because we had seen a threefold increase since 2008. Underneath, however, it shows an increasing divergence between the best and the worst performing centres. It still shows this big north-south divide. And also, from the report, we're able to analyse the difference in performance between the larger centres around the UK and the medium and small. And they all behave very differently. So whilst the national news is good, at a more local level, there are some major issues facing a number of high streets up and down the country.
What does it mean to us nationally?
Well, I think nationally it's a key indicator of part of the sort of economic health of the country. So if people don't have money to spend in shops, then shops will not be able to make a living. I think, secondly, it shows that not only are consumers but also retailers under massive pressure with the squeeze, not only on spending, but on increased commodity costs, and also the increased competition which has come from internet sales and also the growth of the supermarkets. And between those two, they've nearly added over 20% in the last 10 years, which previously didn't exist. So there's a lot of pressures sitting on these retailers, and the bottom line, sadly, is at the end of the day in the UK, we have just too many shops.
Can you guys forecast if we're starting to turn it into ghost towns or whether we're going to become thriving areas again?
I think you can't turn the clock back. I think the question about ghost towns is an interesting one, and I think that Mary Portas in Rotherham made an interesting and potentially dangerous comment, and that was that some towns are dead. And I would never say that any towns are dead. I think in a number of instances these towns are too big for the current retail market, and therefore they need to shrink their offer and have a more vibrant shopping and leisure destination in their centre. All these towns have to realise that they can't all be the same, and they can't compete with the internet and supermarkets. So play to your strengths.
Now, we know the national figures. If we move a little closer to home here, Nottinghamshire, how are we looking there?
Well, Nottinghamshire as a county is fairly high in terms of being at sort of 16.5%. It's up at one of the highest county levels. Mansfield is above the average by about 2% or so, but then you've got Sutton and Ashfield sort of below it. So you do have a spread, and it's very typical within a county to have a spread of performance based on where the town is and the socio-economic makeup of the county. So what you see in Nottinghamshire is fairly typical of what you would see around the rest of the country.
Oh, well, there you are, Nick. So Sutton and Ashfield is licking you. They're doing better.
I think you can obviously say that from what the guy said, but, let's compare eggs for eggs, because, Sutton, great place, but it's really not the same sort of size of place that Mansfield is. I mean, if you look at the actual cost of renting properties in the retail sector in Sutton compared to us, it's far cheaper to actually go and set a shop up there. So it would suggest that Mansfield is a much better place to come and set a shop up.
Well, why haven't they invited, Sid Pepper, Mary Portas to come to Mansfield? Are you frightened of what she might say if she came here? Do you think that's what it might be?
I don't know what you're talking about. Who invites her?
Mary Portas.
I know what you're talking about, but who invites her?
Well, one would presume that these people could invite her from Mansfield District Council.
Well, I have no idea.
Well, let's ask him then. If you're avoiding the question, let's go him.
No, it's a silly question.
No, what do you say? Why haven't you invited them?
We would certainly welcome Mary Portas to come to Mansfield. I've watched all her programmes. I think she's really good, has some great ideas, and why not? So if she would like to come to Mansfield, I would welcome to see her.
She's, of course, doing an independent review, isn't she? That's what it's supposed to be, a completely independent review.
She does. I mean, if you've watched the Queen of Shops series, she comes up with some really good advice. People, when you actually sit in, actually doing a particular job and running a particular business for many, many years, you can actually miss the actual commercial point and that is possibly contributing towards the decline. You have to be open-minded about how you display your goods and how shops have moved on, and the mix of internet and shop use. So I do know that certain retailers are working on the internet as well, and that's what's helping sustain.
Well, David Cameron and Nick Clegg have both approached her and said, "Oh, you're the one we want to help with this." So she clearly is being seen as somebody who is doing a good independent survey of it.
Absolutely. So yeah, we would all welcome Mary Portas, because I think she has some great ideas, and I would certainly support that.
It's just coming up to 13 minutes past 1 o'clock. You're listening to Mansfield 103.2. The number to ring in on is 01623. That's a Mansfield number, of course. 666 000. We'd like to hear your views as well. We've got quite a number of people who are going to get onto the programme, and the real thing is, is Mansfield Town a ghost town? Is it heading that way, or can we bring it back to life?
The Monday Mouthpiece needs you. Call now 01623 666 000. When you buy your new windows, doors or a beautiful conservatory from Everseal, you pay nothing for a year or take 3 years interest-free credit. So why wait? You can have your windows or conservatory now from Everseal. Credit is subject to status and interest-free. Ask for details. everseal.co.uk. That's everseal.co.uk.
Now that the kids have gone back to school, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all this spare time on my hands. But at least I'll have a little extra to spend on myself. I know what I'm going to do.
At Label Traders right now, autumn fashions are arriving daily, including new knitwear and nightwear. Label Traders is a genuine factory shop just off the A38 at the Ashfield pub. There's lots of parking, a coffee shop, and a kiddies play area.
Are you the parent of a child in Year 6? Do you know 83% of Garibaldi College students achieved 5 or more A-star to C grade GCSEs this year? The college's best ever results. Do you want your child to attend a school where Ofsted says behaviour is good and students feel safe and happy? Then come along to Garibaldi's open evening for parents and children in Year 6 on Thursday the 15th of September at 6 p.m. Or if you prefer, our open day on Monday the 19th of September. Call 464 220 to book a place. Garibaldi College, Forest Town, Mansfield.
Jewellery, like anything else, can sometimes need repairs. So take your broken jewellery to Queen Street Goldsmiths in Mansfield. Their on-site workshop guarantees a fast and quality service. They will also buy your unwanted gold jewellery and watches. Queen Street Goldsmiths, Mansfield. And now at Middlegate Goldsmiths, Newark.
Harley Blinds in Mansfield have gone stark raving bonkers. They're offering 2 top-quality vertical blinds for only £99 with a choice of fabrics and colours. Yes, that's 2 3.5-inch vertical blinds for only £99 up to 2 metres by 2 metres, measured and fitted free. Phone today on Mansfield 628815 or call at their showrooms on Leeming Street, Mansfield or Wrighton Street in Worksop. Hurry, this offer can't last long.
At Morrison's, we're celebrating all things curry with the World Curry Festival. You'll find Indonesian, Thai, Jamaican, Vietnamese and Indian. And VT Dine-In Basmati Rice, Sharwood's Balti Sauce and Mini Naan 4-packs, all crunched to half price. Celebrate all things curry at Morrison's. VT Rice 280 grams, Sharwood Sauce 420 grams, excludes Morrison's Local.
Mid-mornings with OH Parsons, Mansfield's personal injury solicitors. Fighting your corner since 1946. See what we can do for you. Call Mansfield 274 000 or visit ohparsons.co.uk.
Well, a little earlier, before the programme started, I had the great fortune to jump onto Norman Cox's programme and effectively promote this programme. And he came out with the long-numbered swear word Chesterfield in Mansfield. And looking across at Nick, he was saying that he found Chesterfield more vibrant. You've got to comment on that, surely.
Well, you know, we shouldn't diss each other, but I think Chesterfield are doing okay. But if you walk around Chesterfield, the mix of shopping in Chesterfield isn't any better than Mansfield. We've got some great retail parks. We've got things available right through the town centre. We've got a major Marks and Spencers. We're backfilled with New Look in the old Woolworths. You've got all sorts of things in Mansfield that we've got to offer. And when you read the Chesterfield shopping guide, which you
just have to have with you.
To have with me, yes.
Yeah.
Something they said, great truths about growing old, which is quite amusing, I think, for some people maybe in the studio.
Thank you very much.
Growing old is mandatory and growing
Sid's
up
upset now.
is optional. So I think that's quite a nice truth that Chesterfield came up with there. But honestly, to be fair, they talk about the markets in Chesterfield. It's no better than the one in Mansfield. They have one market per week that is probably a little busier than ours, which is the flea market, and that's the day when he said he thought it was vibrant. You come into Mansfield on any sunny day, and it's absolutely
no. We limit adverts to 30 seconds on this network. At the moment, that's on for about a minute and a quarter.
What's we talking about Chesterfield for heaven's sake?
Well, you obviously weren't listening. You obviously weren't listening to the first part of that of the programme then. Okay, we'll move on now to a man who's travelled to many markets, many places, and many radio stations as well, some of the biggest in the country, but he's been known more from his very strong and often controversial views. We say good afternoon to Tommy Boyd. Good afternoon, Tommy.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, now, what is your view on town centres? Because I imagine it will be quite a strong one way or the other.
Well, I really think that we've got to shake up our thinking, quite frankly. It's such an easy one to climb on the bandwagon of. Isn't it a disgrace our shopping centres are going to pot? Their shops are all being boarded up. The community is losing something very important. But there's 2 points. One, people are doing what they want to do, which is shopping elsewhere or going online, and that's what people want to do, and we live in a free country. The other thing is, was the shopping centre, was the town centre really that important a contributor to the fabric of society? It was somewhere to go and buy a packet of fags and maybe get some fish and chips on the way home. If you look at the social networking, which has taken the place of the town centre, Facebook and Twitter, taken the place of the town centre as a place where communities get together and do important things, in the space of a few short years, they've brought democracy to about half a dozen Arab states. And I don't think that any town centre, or all the town centres, in all the countries in Western Europe can claim anything as great as that. That's where the kids are going, onto social network for their communities, and that's where mums and dads are going for their shopping, out of town and online. So let's get some lateral thinking into the argument. If our town centres are going to consist no longer of shops, what can we do with that real estate that's going to make the world a better place? There's housing for a start, and there's recreation as well. And there's greenbelt. Why don't we just plough our town centres into the ground and let them become fields and meadows?
Well, that's nonsense. I mean, I know you're intelligent, so I don't think that was just a throwaway line. It's Sid speaking. Yeah, we touched on this last week with obesity, and I tended to roll over with that as well, that's how it's going to be. Kids aren't going to exercise anymore other than through a box on the knees. But we don't have to necessarily accept that as the only way forward. It's an alternative. We can challenge that. We can reinvigorate the marketplace. I agree, marketplace as such, but it is a focal point, and everything, if you study your town planning... Everything...
It was the focal point of the riots. If we didn't have town centres, we wouldn't have had the looting.
Well, we're not even talking about that's a different thing altogether.
Well,
the point being is, a town centre, if you look at them, everything radiates around a centre. Now, if you're arguing shops, if you're arguing that we don't need shops anymore, all the shops, all the streets radiate around a town centre.
That's not a good message to give out to children, is it, that everything is about business?
Well, I'm sorry, if we don't have business, what do you think McDonald's is? I mean, basically, they're entrapping people to become obese because they want the profit line. But the point being is we have to accept exactly what happened. We have to accept that life is going to change. It's moving at such a pace that, yes, there is going to be stuff online. But there's nothing as real as trying a pair of shoes on. There's nothing as real as trying a suit on. You really want to buy that online, do you?
Well, yes, frankly, yes, actually I do. I really do, because the choice that you get online is fantastic compared to the choice that you don't get in the town centre, because how many outfitters, gentlemen's outfitters, that will sell you a made-to-measure suit have you got in Mansfield?
Well, that's the question. Let's bring Nick into that. That's the answer from you.
You've got Greenwood's outfitters on the corner of the market square. So, yes, we do have outfitters.
But you don't have the choice. You don't have the variety. You don't have the scope. You don't have the price range. You have one outfitter.
We do have...
Can you see why the internet is winning?
Well, I don't think it's a case of winning or losing. It's actually just getting up to speed and embracing it.
It's never going to go away.
A lot of the independent traders are actually having their shop as a shop window, and they sell a lot of their things online. So where the old-fashioned traders might have had problems selling particular lines, I've had this discussion with a number of people. They actually now managed to move some of the stock that might not sell quite so well on eBay. They've opened an eBay shop up. So I think you're wrong. I think that town centres are a place to hold on to. It is a place for people to meet. You look at the communities that turned out for Help the Heroes last Saturday, and you're absolutely wrong if you say do away with that.
He didn't. In fairness, Tommy Boyd wouldn't have a clue how many turned out here for the Help the Heroes this week. Tommy, you're having a go here, and the guy Nick there you're talking to, his job, what we said earlier, depends on him getting the town centre going. Do you think he'll still be employed in a couple of years' time?
I hope he's got on to bigger and better things, and there are certainly better opportunities available to everybody in this day and age with the wonderful out-of-town shopping centres, which are fantastic. We mustn't assume that they have nothing to offer. And, of course, as we were saying a little bit earlier on, shopping online, it's huge now, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger.
Tommy,
I do think that...
Tommy, I'm going to have to let you go because Sid looks like he's going to have a fit here, and I don't want to be responsible for anything medical in this programme. He's got hands on his own throat and that sort of thing. Tommy, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Sid, if you can get your hands off your throat, I'll allow you to react.
Well, I can see where he's coming from because life is changing. There's no question about that. But his radical view is to put a park in the middle where the marketplace is. I mean, this is nonsense. It's not going to work. We have to work with the modern world. And my view is that we have to encourage people into town. And one of the ways you do that is offer free parking. This would be radical.
Yeah,
absolutely
go on, Nick,
free
you
parking.
Respond to that. Free parking, come on.
Well, free parking, if we said you open your business doors and give everything away free that you do, how do you make a living? So clearly,
don't be silly.
there's clearly an income stream that the council
it's an
has.
income stream.
One at a time. On radio, it tends to be something of a if you both speak at the same time. So one at a time. You first, and then him.
All I would suggest that all society is run by certain types of income. Wherever it comes from, if we were to change from car parking, we would have to have that specific type of income to sustain the other services that we provide.
Well, I'll tell you where you get it. I'll tell you where you get it from, because it wasn't part of the income stream 30, 40 years ago. Where your income stream comes from is rates paid by businesses which are vibrant. You're now able to draw rates on businesses that are closed, which of course is stupid, but at least you're still getting a revenue even if the business is gone. Use that money, get rid of half the traffic wardens. You need some traffic wardens, because I'm a big believer of the double yellow line. Don't park there. But if you give them free car parking, they ain't looking for the double yellow. Get people to come into town. It's another £2 or £3 they may spend in the shops, and you're competing then against a Meadowhall, and similar. There are other places available, of course, where you don't pay.
I think there is a mix of giving free parking, which we do at a couple of locations in Mansfield.
Where?
At the rear of the town hall for half an hour, and the Queen's Head.
You can't shop it. You're trying to encourage people to come here for more than half an hour. What's the point of half an hour?
Before you allow me to, talk about the mix of parking that we offer, we try to maintain different locations so that you can park for a long stay and stay for a long time at particular car parks. We have short stay, where they are the more desirable car parks for people close to specific shops where they might want to come and pick something up and nip straight off again. So we have actually looked very closely at the parking mix that we actually provide for Mansfield.
Last word for the moment for you, Sid.
Yeah, you talk themselves into a reason for not doing it. We've given half an hour. I'm asking you to be brave. I'm asking you to be radical. Try it for 6 months. Apart from the Four Seasons, which obviously has to be paid for because that was built. Most of our car parks are derelict pieces of land. Get them free. Just try it. Trust me.
Derelict pieces of land, but will we have a derelict town in the future? You're listening to Mansfield 103.2 in the studio. Nick Turner, who's responsible for trying to make it work in the centre of Mansfield, and Sid Pepper, who wants it to work in Mansfield. The time is 27 minutes past 1.
Want to shove the radio down one of the panel's throats? Call the Monday Mouthpiece now on 01623 666 000.
Are you looking for a new bathroom suite? Top quality and with a manufacturer's lifetime guarantee. New Look Bathrooms in Mansfield can save you up to 50% and they'll pay the VAT. The showroom boasts hundreds of ideas for you to get your perfect bathroom and kitchen, including walk-in showers supplied and fully fitted from only £1,995 and free fold-away TV DVD worth over £300 with all kitchen orders. But hurry, as these summer offers can't last forever. Visit New Look Bathrooms and Kitchens on Ratcliffe Gate, Mansfield. Call 621 731 or visit newlookbathrooms.co.uk.
When it comes to magic deals on new Fords, GK Mansfield holds all the aces. Because you can drive away a brand new 61-plate Fiesta 1.25 Edge with all the extras and a saving of nearly £2,000 for an incredible £159 per month. After GK's deposit contribution of £500 and a customer deposit of £759, you pay 36 monthly instalments of just £159 at an amazing 7.9% APR. Guaranteed minimum future value 3918, total amount payable 10938. Get the brand new 61-plate Fiesta Edge for just £159 per month at GK Mansfield on Southwell Road West, or see us online at gkmansfield.co.uk.
Due to expansion, Ace ABC taxis require drivers with a current Mansfield, Ashfield or Bolsover taxi badge. Help can be provided to new applicants who wish to start a career in the taxi industry. We also require general drivers due to increased demand. Contact Nick at Ace ABC Taxis on 654 321 or email nick at ace-abc.co.uk.
Call 654 321 654 321. Call Ace ABC.
This Tuesday at United Carpets and Beds, and for 12 hours only, we're giving you our maximum possible discount. Any lower and we'd be giving it away. With hundreds of carpets all at half price plus an extra 25% off. There's up to half price plus a further 25% off beds too. And when you buy the underlay, they'll fit the carpet for free. That's not all. Find a better like-for-like carpet deal and they'll give you the carpet and fit it free. Conditions apply. Take advantage of our maximum possible discounts this Tuesday 8 till 8 at UnitedCarpetsandBeds.com in Kirkby and Ashfield and Mansfield Woodhouse.
A chip on your windscreen could crack at any moment, often when you least expect it. Call Autoglass as soon as you spot a chip to get it repaired. It's usually free for you if you're fully comp, saving you the hassle and cost of a new windscreen.
Call Autoglass directly on 0800 234 234 or visit autoglass.co.uk.
Autoglass repair, Autoglass replace.
What's on live?
Triple S Skegby, your local snooker club with 12 tables. Snooker membership available. Join in the fun with darts, skittles and domino teams. Call 515533.
Mid-mornings with OH Parsons, Mansfield's personal injury solicitors. Now with £35 million compensation recovered in the last 3 years. Call Mansfield 274 000.
We're halfway through the hour, and the number to ring is 666 000. Please don't ring our newsroom number, those of you that know that, because they're not in a position to be able to put you through to the programme. 666 000, and we want to hear your view. For instance, do you prefer to shop in Mansfield, or are you one of those going off now outside to supermarkets and other places? Let's find out. Who's on line 5? I think it's Barry Coleman. Barry, good afternoon to you.
Good evening. It's afternoon, mate.
Good afternoon to you.
Right,
good afternoon, Barry.
Fine.
Yeah, make your point.
Right. My point is shopping centres. It's called tax. When you go shopping, you get taxed straight away. £3 parking. Everywhere you go. Right? You go into Sutton, you get taxed for going shopping. I'm in Bakewell at the moment, £3 every time you come taxed to go shopping. When our council's going to wake up and realise that people have expense on even driving to town centres without charging them £3, £4 for a couple of hours parking, you know. And also, councils fishing out, planning to all these supermarkets, Tesco's and your Asda's and your Morrison's, you know, that's got to stop. They're killing everything, you know. And these councillors in Mansfield and Sutton Ashfield ought to realise that they're killing everything off in town centres. The local family businesses that's been going for years gone. You know, and it's all down to councils. Ain't got a clue, as usual.
First reaction from Nick Turner, then straight to Sid Pepper.
Yeah, I certainly take on board the issues that you've raised there with the out-of-town shopping and the advantages of free parking. But ultimately, you're paying for that parking within the rates that you're buying the goods from the shops at those locations. You will find that you know, in town centres, that you can get some bargains that you'll not get the same prices at the big out of town retails.
Sid.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's typical Barry. He just oversimplified it, but he obviously agrees with me that we shouldn't be paying for parking, and to be fair, it was just touched on again, we do pay through it through business rates, so there should therefore be no charges for car parking.
Let me just give you
regarding supermarkets, they're not going to go away. If Mansfield District Council had not allowed the big names into Mansfield, people would have strayed out the area even more, so I don't think that's the problem. What we've got to do is deal with marketplaces, make them more vibrant. Another way of doing it, make marketplaces who come on a Saturday and pay have a free stall Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, let me just have a look at a figure here that we've been given, and it's come over parking charges in Mansfield. From April to June 2011, £456,000 came in from parking, but it's starting to drop, so people don't appear to be voting with their paying of the parking fees. It was down 5% last term.
Well, the actual loss there is from the loss of the Aldergate site that we lost at the beginning of the financial year, and clearly that's the 5%. The actual mix of what we're actually taking at individual car parks has sustained, so that's not a correct statement.
No, okay. It's also irrelevant. It's also irrelevant. What do they enjoy from rates? All I'm saying is that we're being charged twice. Of course it's an income stream for Mansfield. Some of that money ends up with traffic wardens. Get rid of some of them. No, it's not relevant. Don't charge it.
Right.
Give that back to the people to go shopping with. So what would your shops do in Mansfield if they suddenly had another £450,000 a year spent with them? Answer the question.
Well, we'll ask somebody else to ask us a question, really, because we want to get this out to as many listeners as possible. So Phil Gallagher's on the line now from Kirkby. Phil, what's your point?
Hi, I've got a couple. First off, about big supermarkets. There's one at the moment getting built in Kirkby, which is in the town centre, and hopefully that'll bring life to Kirkby. Also about car parking charges. I've never known a council to charge for blue label disabled drivers, because they even charge in certain car parks for disabled. But about the town centres, I don't think Mansfield's that bad compared to nationwide, but there is a lot that can be done. As you can tell, I wasn't born here, I've been here for 18 months. But I think Mansfield's not bad, but I think they could do a lot more to get more people in. And I'm not talking about local people. Wasn't Mansfield the centre of Sherwood Forest? But there's nothing about Robin Hood there. There's nothing in the museum about Robin Hood. If you had something like that, you'd be getting the coach loads that go to Sherwood Forest into the town centre, so then they can spend in town centres, in Mansfield town centre.
Yeah, I like where you're coming from, but the local authority hasn't even made a proper job of the Robin Hood Centre.
No,
they don't do a proper job of it.
No,
we ought to do more.
I'm from Liverpool, and everywhere you go, you've got the Beatles, you've got...
But they were actually real. Robin Hood wasn't. Let's get this right.
Oh, come on, you just...
I was up in Liverpool. I was actually up in Liverpool the other week.
How many people go to see Major Oak?
Yeah.
Not enough.
It's very, very well patronised, but I think you're quite right.
It's not enough. No, it's not enough.
We've got a Major Oak there, and as you say, we could actually advertise that more. There is a balance, though, and I'm sure you will criticise us if we spent too much on advertising certain things when we've got specific services that we've got to deliver. So we do have to strike a balance on what we promote.
I think he's right. I think you could promote, certainly you could promote, and Sidagrees, that's a rarity for me, Robin Hood, because I live in Edwinstowe, and I think that Edwinstowe, there's that brilliant street that's running down there. There have been a number of firms that have gone into business there, a number of shops that have opened that have gone bust, because apparently they're not trying to attract people down the street. The idea would be to use the Robin Hood situation to attract people, and that could be done in Mansfield too.
But don't forget, they're trying to close it anyway, because of course they're worried about the footfall going through the forest, which is going to kill the trees. So hold on a minute, we're going to have to build a new centre because we can't come through here anymore. It's not thought through. It's not run by a private sector. If it was private sector, that would not be the case.
So Phil has a point. Phil Gallagher...
No, Phil's got a very good point.
There is actually the central tree to Sherwood Forest in Mansfield. It's on the top end of Westgate near St John Street. So there's a plaque there, and go and have a look.
It's been cut down.
Lovely.
No, we actually...
you cut it down!
We replaced that. It was cut down years.
You cut the tree down and replaced it with
ago.
A plaque.
No, there is a tree there as well, which we replaced.
Oh, it's a small tree now, is it?
Well, let's all get on a bus and go and have a look at the plaque.
Quite nicely.
Yeah.
Well, it does actually denote the central position of Sherwood Forest, and that is the case.
Right, well, let's speak to one of the good and the great of Mansfield, John Sankey, chairman of the Mansfield. John Sankey, MBE, of course. Very nice man. Aren't you a very nice man?
Well, people say that.
Yeah, but are they telling the truth?
Well, I'll let them be the judge.
Is Mansfield Town a very nice town centre, or does it need a great deal doing to it to avoid it being a ghost town?
No, it doesn't need a great deal doing to it. It needs a bit of private sector polish with the backing of the local authority, which we certainly have in a big way.
So you're saying it's getting it anyway, everything will be fine, is that what you're saying?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's getting some attention, but it just needs a polish. It needs a little bit more doing to it. And that's what we hope the bid are going to do in close cooperation with the local authority.
What exactly is the bid?
Well, the bid is a group of 510 to 20 business people who operate within the ring road, which was the boundary we had to delineate when we started the bid. People voted to take part or didn't vote to take part. And once the yes vote had been achieved, which it was, narrowly, I must admit, but it was achieved, just as any election seems to be achieved narrowly, each business within that district, that boundary, I should say, had to pay 2% of their rateable value. So, for example, my little shop, which people know on Albert Street, I pay something like £150 a year. people like Primark and Marks and Spencer's and the big outfits pay several thousand. It all goes into a pot. There's an elected management board, and they are split into 4 units which are working on the things we think we can improve, and those units are to do with cleanliness.
So that money, that 2%, creates your budget to improve the town centre of Mansfield?
Yes, to add value to what's being spent already, and it's a considerable amount being spent already. So we've not dug deep enough into the baseline agreements which the local authority had to produce for us within this bid structure.
And you've got this I Love Mansfield campaign as well, haven't you?
Well, yes, that's something to start with. That's just a beginning, really. When someone said they were going to launch this, I felt a bit sceptical about it, but people that work with in the bid have worked very hard, and that'll keep going now. That'll be the beginning until we think of something better, but it will be the beginning of something big. And as I said, Tony, we split the group into 4. One looks after the finances. That's an internal thing, but the other 2 are cleanliness, safety, and promote. And my view of things is that we should have a simple strapline which says clean, safe, and promote. And the promote bit, strangely enough, has not been done sufficiently well, and I suspect that's perhaps because the private sector whiz kids aren't involved. For example, with the Isle of Mansfield, your station promoted it extensively, and it worked. And the Chad were involved too, of course. And then all the shopkeepers sort of hang on to it. Not all of them, but, I mean, the big outfits don't sort of get involved in quite the same way as the small ones. But it's the small ones that need most help, isn't it?
Well, the point being is, yes, John, it's Sid speaking.
I think we're making some progress. Yeah, I think we need to... We're early days yet. We were stopped in our tracks early on, but we've overcome that now, and we've got a new bid manager, a lady called Sarah Newton, who incidentally has just come back from 2 weeks holiday and can't wait to get started. She's emailed me several times to say, I'm back, now let's get on with it.
Well, I wouldn't have set her on if she'd got current holidays. I'd have waited until she'd had the holidays. But are you saying then, it's Sid speaking...
I don't know how good she is, so...
There you go, it's Sid speaking, so I don't usually... There you go, how you doing?
Not at the same time, guys, please.
Yeah, are you saying then that Nick is not required anymore, or are we working in cohorts with them?
No, not at all. No, I'm not... that's not part of my remit at all. It's nothing to do with me, in the sense that the local authority employ Nick to do whatever he does. We're not employing another town centre manager. We've got a bid manager to handle the £300,000 that we've got from you and from other operators in the town centre, and we're going to use it wisely. But as I said earlier, we're going to add value to what's being done already. For example, if the town, this is the silly examples. Please don't take it as kosher, but if the town is cleaned 4 times a week, and we think it ought to be cleaned 5, then we could step in. If we think the town needs a different kind of wash, deep clean or grot spot clean, the local authority have told us how much they spend, and we're already talking to some of the officers about this, and we're going to add value. We're not going to do we're not going to pinch the people's money. We've already paid our taxes. This is an additional lump of money to put the icing on the cake.
John, I wish you every success, but I want to stop you just for one moment. I want to ask you to make a prediction. Now, we know that it's going to be more difficult for people to have money to be able to spend. The disposable income is in all the financial papers today, it's saying it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. How do you see Mansfield Town Centre 2 years from today?
Better than it is now.
Thanks, John. That's fine. That's a great answer. Give me a ring on 01623 666 000. We'd love to have your calls. We'll get in as many as we can before the end of the programme. It's just coming up to 16 minutes to 2 o'clock, and you're on Mansfield 103.2.
When you buy your new windows, doors or a beautiful conservatory from Everseal, you pay nothing for a year or take 3 years interest-free credit. So why wait? You can have your windows or conservatory now from Everseal. Credit is subject to status and interest-free. Ask for details. Everseal.co.uk. That's everseal.co.uk.
Kingsway Jewellers and Braze China genuine closing down sale. Up to 70% off selected items. 40% off all spode. 30% off gold, platinum and diamond rings. Everything in store is reduced, including Crown Derby, Moorcroft and Ladrow. All stock must go. Hurry while stocks last. Final day of trading is Saturday the 17th of September. Rosemary and Scarf would like to thank everyone for their support over the years. Kingsway Jewellers and Braze China. Lowmore Road, Kirkby and Ashfield.
This Tuesday at United Carpets and Beds, and for 12 hours only, we're giving you our maximum possible discount. Any lower and we'd be giving it away. With hundreds of carpets all at half price plus an extra 25% off. There's up to half price plus a further 25% off beds too. And when you buy the underlay, they'll fit the carpet for free. That's not all. Find a better like-for-like carpet deal and they'll give you the carpet and fit it free. Conditions apply. Take advantage of our maximum possible discounts this Tuesday 8 till 8 at unitedcarpetsandbeds.com in Kirkby and Ashfield and Mansfield Woodhouse.
Think uni's out of reach? Access to higher education courses at West Notts could lead you to your dream career. Call 0808 100 3626 or click wnc.ac.uk.
Call Westville. Insulate your home now to reduce your future heating bills. Everyone is entitled to a grant, but time is running out. We do all the paperwork and grants could be as much as £1,200. Westville, saving your money and our energy since 1988. Call right now.
74451. Call Westville.
Zero. Zilch. That's how much deposit you could need to buy your first Keep Moat home. Pay from £71,996 up front for 80% of a new home at Churchfields in Sharbrook, but own it 100%. And with Keep Moat Homes, that could mean no deposit is needed. Visit the show home this weekend. For more information, go to keepmoathomes.co.uk. Eligibility criteria apply, remaining 20% repaid after 10 years, interest-free for 5 years.
At motmax.co.uk, we only MOT, so you won't get any hefty repair bills here. And with our no pass, no pay policy, we want your car to pass its MOT as much as you do. Terms and conditions may apply. See website for details and to book online.
motmax.co.uk. If your car don't pass, then you don't pay.
Mid-mornings with OH Parsons, Mansfield's personal injury solicitors. Fighting your corner since 1946. See what we can do for you. Call Mansfield 274 000 or visit ohparsons.co.uk.
You're listening to Mansfield 103.2. We're talking about the town centre. We've talked about retailers. We've talked about parking. Let's talk a little about nightlife and nighttime situations. And one man who can talk about that from the Late Lounge is Jono Edwards. Jono, how do you view the centre of Mansfield? We've talked about it heading possibly towards being a ghost town. How do you view it at the moment?
I think, well, firstly, it's not as busy as it was a couple of years ago, but I think that's down to the level of investment that actually is being put into the nighttime economy, not just from the council or the police or anything like that. It's not that. It's the amount of investment that's been put in from pub operators, bar owners as well. I think that the town is desperate, ready for some new investment in the town centre because, you know, people are coming out less and less because obviously they've got less money in their pockets. So I think that people should be investing in good entertainment for night, you know, and on a night out to actually attract people into the town centre.
So how do they go about doing that if they haven't got the funds to be able to do it? Where do they draw that money from?
Well, I don't know. I'm in a difficult position with this because, you know, I personally believe as an entrepreneur in the town that, you know, you need to keep putting money in, you need to keep reinvesting for the longevity of your business. And I just think that without sort of like talking down my competitors or anything, you know, I think it's about time that some of them actually started investing in their own buildings. You know, places do have, you know, scruffy-looking carpets, scruffy toilets and things like that, because obviously business has been tight as well for everybody, which I accept that, but sometimes you have to take a drop in your profits like we all have been doing and actually put some of that investment back into your business to attract more customers in. So sometimes it can go down like a downward spiral. It's something that I am personally worried about because Fridays, for instance, in town are not as busy as they used to be, and people are picking and choosing where they go and when they do it. You know, so it is quite worrying, and the nighttime economy does employ a lot of people in the Mansfield town centre.
What about the daytime economy of restaurants and that sort of thing? How do you think that's affected at the moment?
I know that our lunchtime trade is a lot more difficult up at Why Not. We used to get a lot of business people, and we still do, and, touch wood, our business is still doing very well. But I think, there's lots of sandwich shops in Mansfield now, lots of coffee shops, pasty shops, so there's lots of fast food on the go. So I think a lot of the office workers are using those a lot more rather than coming down and sitting down with some fresh food like they used 2 years ago. But my biggest thing is the amount of empty shops we have in Mansfield, which is ridiculous.
Spot on. Now, the boarded up shops, you walk through, you have a look, maybe you walk down past the marketplace or whatever to the bank, etc. Before I pass you over to Nick and then to Sid, what's your view of that? What feeling does that give you?
Well, I mean, the thing is, I went to Sutton a couple of weeks ago on business up there, and I was quite alarmed of how many shops Mansfield has empty compared to Sutton and Ashfield. It seems like in Sutton and Ashfield there's lots more shops, there's lots more individual, like entrepreneurial businesses in Sutton than there is in Mansfield. And you walk down Leman Street now, for instance, and obviously you go up the Westgate area, and a lot of them are just completely empty. And I just think, well, the landlords of these places must be paying some business rates on those. So I just, I think that it's about time the landlords start to probably be a little bit more realistic with the rents that they're asking for. Because I know if I was a landlord, I'd rather have somebody paying me something rather than nothing. And I think that, we need to be attracting more sort of local businesses into the town centre, because obviously all the big PLCs, they're all going onto retail parks, which is great, and they do work, but it can leave a town centre that's dying.
Right. Let's have Nick first of all, who's the Mansfield District Council Town Centre Manager. Nick Turner.
Yeah, thanks for that. I think that there's some really valid points there, obviously with the individual shops. One thing that we are actually doing now, we're working with Leo, which is the local enterprise organisation, and they're starting to hold surgeries in the town hall once a month at the moment, and it's going to increase to weekly into October. And what they are going to do is train people up to actually start their own businesses and help start them off on maybe market stalls. We've got a market stall holder at the moment that makes cakes that's looking to actually move into a shop. So we are trying to move people forward and encourage people that haven't got a job at the moment, and there are quite a lot of those about up and down the country, and we're going to try and encourage people into the town on that basis. Clearly, we would like more entrepreneurs to come to Mansfield, and there are quite a few opportunities in the Leman Street area where we would like more cafes. So, the sort of things that you could get, like Bella Italia, Café Rouge, Pizza Express, Nando's, that type of thing would be great. But if we could get some individual restaurants to improve that nighttime economy, that would really help your business.
Right, Jono, it's Sid speaking. Yeah, this is why we don't need Mary Porters, because basically you're describing exactly what Mary Porters does when she goes into these old businesses who have missed the trick. You've already alluded to it. Spend some money, tidy the facade up, try and do something different, try and offer a worthwhile visit, and the business will regenerate. You're quite right.
Yeah.
Now, the point being is the reason why they're moving into Sutton, and these are not a start-up businesses, nor all dress of the mill, it's much cheaper rent and rates there.
Absolutely.
Now, the rates in Mansfield are horrific.
I know.
The rents are horrific. Now, the point being is, while they're taking that money, and then they want to scheme offers this £450,000 on car parking. I'm so angry it's not true. If you try and start up a business in Mansfield at the moment, you've got no chance, because your first year, you won't survive your first year, because your rent and rates are just going to do for you.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, absolutely right. Can I just make a point as well? Going back to what Nick said, I totally agree about the Leman Street area, and it's quite disturbing that you mentioned about, you try to encourage more cafes and sort of your big chains. But surely, which I totally accept, it'd be great if we could have all those chains in Mansfield, like the Costa Coffee, that seems to be doing really, really well. It's a lovely looking premises. But the thing is, I think let's concentrate on the shoppers first, because we need to get shoppers into town first before we start feeding the coffee and cakes. So we need the shoppers before we give them something to drink.
The words of John O. Edwards there, and we hear from him from time to time about the nightlife of Mansfield from the Late Lounge, of course. The time on Mansfield 103.2 with the number to ring in is Mansfield 66600 if you want to get your say. Not long to have it now, because it's just coming up to 6 minutes to 2 o'clock.
Brighten up your home this summer with a brand new carpet. You know where to go.
Go to B&J. Pay for it straight away. Go to B&J. Pay for it straight away. Go to B&J. For carpets, pay for it straight away. Go to B&J.
Make a B and J line to B&J Carpets on Kirkby Road, Sutton. Why would you go anywhere else?
For carpets, pay for it straight away. Go to B&J.
The Robin Hood Inn, Edwinstowe, serving traditional home-cooked food. For real homemade chips and a warm welcome. The Robin Hood, Clipston Road, Edwinstowe. Plus great value Sunday carvery.
Autoglass repair, Autoglass replace. Emma, 24, technician for Autoglass.
My last customer at Autoglass was a doctor with a hectic schedule. He got a chip on his windscreen but was always in a hurry, so he ignored it. Then on his way to work, he drove over a speed bump and crack. Well, every chip will eventually crack. He called Autoglass directly and I replaced his windscreen while he was in surgery, but he had to pay his expensive insurance excess. That really hurt. If he'd just called when he first saw the chip, I could have repaired it instead. At Autoglass, we can come to wherever's best for you to do the job. It couldn't be easier. Plus, for your peace of mind, we guarantee our workmanship for as long as you own your car. And if you're fully comp, a repair is usually free for you and won't affect your no claims.
Call Autoglass directly on 0800 234 234 or visit autoglass.co.uk.
Autoglass repair. One more thing. Most insurers recommend Autoglass, so no need to call them first.
Autoglass repair, Autoglass replace.
Say Mick Byrne, think bikers. Mick Byrne motorcycle helmets and clothing sale is now on. Up to 50% off all Alpine Stars clothing, 20% off all Shark helmets, plus free BMF bike show tickets with every purchase. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Mick Byrne at Unit 5, Block 1, Old Mill Lane, Industrial Estate, Mansfield, or call 01623 644 634.
JP 4x4, the family-run business with over 20 years' experience in the motor trade, offering the best choice in quality used 4x4s around. You won't get smooth-talking salesmen, just simple sound advice. If you're happy, then we're happy. Complete after-sales service available. Mansfield Road, Skegby. Call 559833 or visit our website jp4x4.co.uk.
BizX returns to the Civic Centre in Mansfield on Wednesday the 21st of September. Now in its 5th year, BizX brings a wealth of products, services and expertise to anyone already in business, and a not-to-be-missed exhibition if you are thinking of starting a business. Key speakers throughout the day include Syra Khan, star of The Apprentice and founder of natural baby skincare products Mia Moo. Call 01159 70 55 50 or visit mbv.co.uk.
Mid-mornings with OH Parsons, Mansfield's personal injury solicitors. Now with £35 million compensation recovered in the last 3 years. Call Mansfield 274 000.
Mansfield 103.2, let's get back straight on the lines. Lee Dunville has a business on Portland Square. He also deals with a great deal of finance, and people's finances as well. Lee, what's your view on the town centre first?
My view, Tony, I'm probably going to play the part of mediator for once in my life. Normally I'm on one side or the other, but I actually agree both with Sid and with Nick. I think the fact is the online shopping and the out-of-town sort of major supermarkets, they're not going to change. They're here to stay. I know certainly the online market better because I've got 3 boys and they all do it. And with Nick, I totally agree that things at town should revolve around the town centre. So I'm totally in favour of us keeping them. But I think maybe what we've got to do is start and look outside the box and look at what else we can do with the town centre, as opposed to just thinking that it's a shopping centre or a place to come and buy your goods. What other services can we introduce that's going to generate people? Because people generate people.
Briefly suggest some.
Well, for instance, I'm totally in agreement with bringing colleges in. I think it's been done in Nottingham. It's been done in other big cities. Bring more colleges in, bring students in. Students have needs, and that's what we've got to look with shops. If you're retailing, you've got to have a user, an end user that's got a need for your service or your product. So bring colleges in, bring leisure facilities in, think outside the box with other services. I don't know, using the town hall for more get-togethers. There's loads of empty buildings. And picking up on Jono's point, what are the landlords doing? Landlords are putting up rents rather than taking them down and encouraging people.
Thanks for joining us, Lee. We've got another caller online. We'll try and take him very briefly. Paul Vickerstaff. Paul, you were, I think, were one of the very, very first people for Mansfield 2020, weren't you?
Yes, I was indeed one of the original 8 or 10. It was the time, and it was headed up by Mansfield Brewery people and Linny's, the Chad people.
What's your view on it now? Is it going down the neck, or can we fight it back?
If I just say, I'm a Sunday Mansfield boy, and I went on to open 28 retail shops and bars and so on. So I'm aware of the high street and whatever. But if you talk about the 2010, which was organised initially by the Mansfield Brewery and the Chad, you've now lost the Mansfield Brewery and you've lost the Chad. So times do change.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, and apologies because I called you Paul. This is, of course, David Vickerstaff. David, lovely to speak to you at the end of this programme, and hope that some of the joy that you brought to 2010 and 2020 will continue maybe for Mansfield Town Centre. With me has been Nick Turner, who's been who is the manager of Mansfield Town Centre, and of course Sid Pepper at the far end. 2 years from now, up or down the Town Centre? Sid, quick word.
Oh.
And you?
Oh.
And me? Got to be up, hasn't it? Tony Delahunty saying goodbye to you all. Don't forget to join us again next week for the Mouthpiece. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you all. Let's get down to town.